What is the secret to greatness? I can tell you what it's not. It's not doing nothing. It's not waiting around for a lottery ticket. It's definitely not blaming the world when blaming the world won't change anything. So what is it? We're going to explain that secret in this video in 5 steps that you can follow right at home. But we didn't discover this minus 2,000 years ago. The Stoics did. What they invented and developed was so powerful that it made believers of people as different as Roman emperors and slaves. The world may have changed since then, but the psychological truths that push people to greatness have not. I can't tell you what it takes to achieve greatness in 30 seconds. That's what this video is for. But I can give you a summary of what they found. Our power doesn't lie in controlling the things that happen. It can't because we can't. Our power lies in mastering our response to the things that happen to us and those circumstances that we can change. And if you can learn to do that, you have solved the problem. Greatness is yours. But not me. It won't work for me. I can hear some of you saying this. Things never work out for me. My situation is different. I'm here to tell you that it will work for you, if you try. I'm going to give you a plan that will get you there. And here it is in outline form. First, you must focus. Second, you must change your thoughts to change your reality. Third, you must work to achieve a flow state in your life. Fourth, you must act according to your values. And fifth, you must make the world your arena. The most important of these is the first one, focus. Above all and above everything else, you must focus. The great Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "To be everywhere is to be nowhere." What this means is that when we spread our attention across too many things simultaneously, we aren't present or effective with any of them. Seneca is warning us that multitasking and constant distraction prevent deep engagement. It was true in his time, and it's true in ours. In modern life, when our attention jumps between emails, social media, work tasks, and conversations, we experience only the surface of each, without making a meaningful impact. True effectiveness comes from being fully present with one thing at a time. A mind that tries to be everywhere, attending to many tasks at once, ends up being nowhere, not fully engaged with anything. This connects with modern research showing that multitasking reduces cognitive performance and depth of thought. Seneca, in other words, recognized that scattered attention leads to scattered results. You may appear busy, but you accomplish little of significance. And what matters in the world we live in is results. The Stoic approach values depth over breadth because that's what gets results. Computer science professor Cal Newport calls the ability to focus without distraction deep work, defining it as professional activities performed in a state of distraction-free concentration that push your cognitive capabilities to their limit. This modern concept mirrors what the Stoics practiced as mental discipline. While Newport's research demonstrates that deep work is profitable in today's economy, the Stoics would argue it's always been essential for a how can we reclaim life? The evidence against multitasking keeps building. Research from Stanford University shows that heavy multitaskers perform worse on cognitive control tests and struggle more with relevant information filtering. Each time we switch tasks, we pay what Newport calls an attention residue tax. Up to 40% of our productive capacity lost in transitions. So it follows that if you stay focused, you'll be up to 40% more effective. Our focus in a world designed to fragment it. Here are practical techniques you can follow to do deep work. Begin with morning intention setting, a practice Marcus Aurelius followed religiously. Before emails and notifications, decide what deserves your deepest attention today. Next, create distraction-free environments by eliminating what Newport calls shallow work triggers. Silence notifications, close unnecessary tabs, and establish boundaries before you begin to save time. Finally, practice mindful transitions between activities. Rather than immediately jumping between tasks, pause briefly to reset your attention. What Epictetus might call preparing the mind for the work at hand. By preparing yourself in this way, you'll set yourself up for success. True greatness in work and character emerges from the discipline of focused attention. But focus alone isn't enough. Once you've mastered your attention, you must direct it toward the right thoughts. The Stoics understood that our perceptions shape our experience more profoundly than external circumstances. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." This insight, that we can transform our reality by transforming our thinking, forms the foundation of what we call cognitive behavioral stoicism, the deliberate practice of regulating your thoughts to improve your life. The practice is straightforward. Whenever you enter a thought spiral, apply the Stoic test. Ask yourself, is this within my control? If the answer is no, practice acceptance. If it's yes, channel your energy toward constructive action instead of rumination. There's a modern psychological technique with a similar orientation called cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. It's a psychotherapy approach that focuses on identifying and changing unhelpful thinking patterns and behaviors. The premise of CBT is that our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors are interconnected, meaning that negative patterns in any of these areas can create and maintain psychological distress. To fix ourselves, we must fix those patterns. CBT helps people develop more helpful ways of thinking and behaving. Here's an example. When something bad happens, most people fall into destructive thought patterns. "This always happens to me," "Everything is ruined," or "I can't handle this." The Stoics recognize these as false impressions, judgments that we add to neutral events. If we add them, that means we can also stop adding them. Epictetus taught that it's not what happens to you, but how you respond to it that matters. Consider how differently your day unfolds when you view challenges as opportunities rather than obstacles. This creates a feedback loop of empowerment. When you reframe negative thoughts, your emotional responses shift, your actions become more effective, and your outcomes improve. Modern cognitive behavioral stoicism has rediscovered what the Stoics knew. We can question our automatic thoughts and more willingly choose more rational interpretations. When we do this, we free ourselves from unnecessary suffering and expand our potential. When we are at our maximum potential, we tend to be in a state of flow. The Stoics understood that true productivity comes from deep and purposeful engagement. This ancient wisdom is backed up by psychologist Millie Csikszentmihalyi's concept of flow, that optimal state where we're so immersed in a challenging activity that time seems to disappear. Flow represents the perfect balance between skill and challenge. When a task is too difficult, we feel anxiety. When it's too easy, we experience boredom. But in that sweet spot where our abilities are stretched but not overwhelmed, we achieve a state the Stoics would recognize as ideal functioning. Seneca's advice to be present where you are anticipates Csikszentmihalyi's research by millennia. Both recognize that divided added the secret to greatness is not doing nothing, waiting for a lottery ticket, or blaming the world when that won't change anything. So what is it? The answer lies in 5 steps inspired by the wisdom of the Stoics, a philosophy so powerful it shaped the minds of both Roman emperors and slaves. While the world has changed, the psychological truths that drive people to greatness remain the same. Our power does not lie in controlling the things that happen to us, because we can't. It lies in mastering our response to what happens and taking action in the areas we can change. If you can do that, you have solved the problem. Greatness is within your reach. Some might say, that won't work for me. My situation is different. But the truth is, this works for anyone who commits to the process. The plan is straightforward. First, you must focus. Second, you must change your thoughts to change your reality. Third, you must achieve a flow state in your life. Fourth, you must act according to your values. And fifth, you must make the world your arena. Above all, focus is the most important. Seneca once said, "To be everywhere is to be nowhere." When we spread our attention across too many things at once, we fail to be present or effective with any of them. Multitasking and constant distractions prevent deep engagement. In today's world, switching between emails, social media, and work creates only surface-level attention, reducing productivity. Research confirms this. Studies show that multitasking reduces cognitive performance and that shifting between tasks incurs an attention residue tax, costing up to 40% of productive capacity. To reclaim focus, start each morning with intention setting, just as Marcus Aurelius did. Decide what truly deserves your attention. Create distraction-free environments by silencing notifications, closing unnecessary tabs, and setting clear boundaries before you begin. Practice mindful transitions between tasks, preparing your mind for deep work. True greatness in both work and character emerges from the discipline of focused attention. Once you've mastered your focus, you must direct it toward the right thoughts. The Stoics understood that our perceptions shape our experiences more than external circumstances. Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." This idea is echoed in modern psychology through cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, which teaches that our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors are interconnected. Negative patterns in thinking lead to distress, but by shifting our mindset, we can improve our emotional responses and actions. The Stoics provided a simple test for regulating thoughts. When a negative thought arises, ask, "Is this within my control?" If the answer is no, practice acceptance. If yes, take constructive action. When something bad happens, many people think, "This always happens to me," or "I can't handle this." But these are just judgments we add to neutral events. Since we add them, we can also remove them. Epictetus taught, "It's not what happens to you, but how you respond that matters." By questioning automatic negative thoughts and reframing them, we free ourselves from unnecessary suffering and expand our potential. At our highest potential, we often experience a state of flow, deep, focused engagement where time seems to disappear. The Stoics valued this kind of deep work, and modern psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi's concept of flow confirms its importance. Flow occurs when a task is challenging enough to stretch our abilities, but not so difficult that it overwhelms us. When a task is too easy, we get bored. When too hard, we feel anxious. But in that balance, we achieve peak performance. Stoic principles align perfectly with the conditions for flow. Epictetus advised approaching each task as if it were your last, bringing full attention to the present moment. To cultivate flow, identify activities where you lose track of time. Structure your environment to eliminate distractions. Set clear goals with immediate feedback. Use the Stoic practice of premeditatio malorum anticipating obstacles, so you are prepared for challenges before they arise. The Stoics knew that success doesn't come from scattered effort, but from focused mastery. Flow theory provides modern evidence of this ancient truth. Our greatness requires more than good intentions. It demands consistent action in alignment with your values. Epictetus said, "Don't explain your philosophy. Embody it." This brings us to the final step, making the world your arena. Making the world your arena means turning everyday situations into opportunities for practice and growth. And to do that, you must get out there and try. One of the best ways to start is by embracing the asterisk do things badly asterisk principle. Perfectionism can cause paralysis. Instead, give yourself permission to perform poorly at first. Write the terrible first draft. Have the awkward conversation. Attempt the imperfect workout. Excellence doesn't come from planning. It comes from iteration. As writer Anne Lamott put it, almost all good writing begins with terrible first efforts. If you struggle to take action, use implementation strategies like asterisk, if-then asterisk statements. Instead of saying, I'll exercise more, commit to. When I wake up on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'll put on my running shoes and jog for 20 minutes. Research shows this approach dramatically increases follow-through by linking behaviors to specific situations. Another useful tool is the 5-minute rule. Commit to just 5 minutes of a challenging activity. This bypasses resistance and often leads to a full session as momentum takes over. By applying these strategies consistently, you create lasting habits. You no longer need designated spaces for growth. The entire world becomes a place for practicing these principles. This is how you start on the path to greatness. At the beginning of this journey, we asked what the secret to greatness is. Now you know it's not reserved for the lucky few. It's a practical, proven path anyone can follow. Let these 5 Stoic principles, focus, thought management, flow, values-based action, and making the world your arena, be your framework for transformation. Mastering your focus allows you to direct your attention where it matters most. Changing your thoughts reshapes your reality. Flow enables you to reach your highest potential. Acting according to your values builds unshakable character. Making the world your arena turns philosophy into practice, leading to meaningful change in your life and the lives of others. Greatness isn't about perfection, it's about progression. The Stoics knew that we are all works in progress. Every day is an opportunity to apply these principles, stumble, learn, and grow stronger. As Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, when you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. So begin today. Start badly if you must, but start. Focus your attention on what truly matters. Challenge your limiting thoughts. Find your flow. Live your values. Make every environment an arena for practicing these timeless principles. The path to greatness is before you. Now it's your turn to take the first step. If you've had experiences with these techniques or Stoicism in general, share them in the comments. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear to start their own journey. Remember, as Epictetus taught, you have the power to transform any circumstance into an opportunity for growth. Whether mastering focus, changing thoughts, finding flow, following values, or making the world your arena, every moment is a chance to strengthen your Stoic mindset. Finally, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more videos on turning life's challenges into fuel for growth. Until next time, keep advancing on the path to greatness. One Stoic technique at a time mention prevents the deep engagement necessary for excellence. Modern research confirms this old wisdom. When we focus fully on what we are doing, we perform at our best.